Hi and welcome to Classic MGB. Now, governments in the UK in the past haven't exactly been friendly to classic cars, although we have had the road tax and MOT exemption for vehicles older than 40 years, along with the ULEZ exemption and new DVLA rules regarding renovations. Having watched the Chancellor's budget speech, we've distilled some of the changes that she made and how they impact on classic car owners generally and MGB owners in particular. I should stress that I'm not an economist and certainly don't know all the answers. Who does? So these are my thoughts on the possible implications of the measures introduced in the budget. If you think differently, let us know in the comments. So, firstly, the good news. In the weeks leading up to the budget, the government have floated various anti-classic car measures, probably to assess how the public will react, things like ending the road tax exemption and removing the ULEZ exemption. Well, I'm pleased to report that the Chancellor has left these in place, so we'll continue to enjoy them. So on the face of it, there are no changes to our hobby, but that would be misleading, as many of the measures introduced by Ms. Reeves have wide-reaching implications for many of us. Of course, exactly how it impacts individuals will depend on their circumstances, so it's important to check the details in the mainstream media over the next few days. Let's start with investment. Cash ISAs will be reduced for under 65s from £20,000 to £12,000 per year. The remaining £8,000 may be put into a stocks and shares ISA. The overall stocks and shares ISA allowance remains the same at £20,000. Whether this is a good or bad thing for classics is a bit unclear. Do people use ISA savings to fund their classic? The classic car demographic is heavily weighted towards the older section, so the Chancellor's 4.8% pension increase will be good for many in our community. Disability benefits will also increase by 3.8%, which will be welcome news for many classic car owners. Whilst on the subject of benefits, the two-child cap on universal credit and tax credits will help younger classic enthusiasts with families. The announcement made just before Budget Day that the national minimum wage and national living wage would be increased could have a significant effect though. As wages increase and other business costs increase with them, it's inevitable that prices will rise, which could well lead to inflation, although new measures on controlling household energy bills may balance this out. Many classic car owners rely on property income, savings interest and dividends to augment their incomes, and sadly the Chancellor has increased tax rates on these income streams by 2% for both the basic and higher rate taxpayers. This could reduce the cash available to fund a classic, although another way to look at it may be that more people will cash in investments to fund a classic if the income from those investments drop. Of course, we have yet to see what longer-term effect the budget will have on the stock market and investment in general, but initial movements on the FTSE today suggest that the city hasn't been unnerved by the Chancellor's measures, which bodes well for smaller investors as well. We saw how unwise, some may say idiotic, decisions affected investment. Think Liz Truss and her disastrous budget a few years ago. Freezing the income tax allowances until 2031 will also have the effect of increasing the tax take by around £8 billion, with more people paying tax and more people moving into the higher rate. Quite a stealthy way to effectively increase income tax without notionally breaking their manifesto commitment not to. This, along with freezing national insurance allowances, may well lead to increased wage demands and resultant higher prices, which will effectively mean businesses are likely to increase prices. It should be noted that this information relates to England, as Scotland has its own tax rates. The whole EV question is hotly debated in classic circles, and the new charge of 3p per mile for all electric vehicles and 1.5p per mile for plug-in hybrids from 2028 will be welcomed by many. The actual wording says that these charges will be on top of other road charges, which suggests that the government will be going after EV drivers in the future. Apparently this will be used to improve road maintenance, but then we've heard that one before. In itself, this doesn't directly affect the classic community, although if the Treasury are taxing EVs, it may mean the fuel duty in the future won't go up as much as it might have. Fuel duty has been frozen for the next year, so that's good news, although as most classic car enthusiasts don't do that many miles, an increase would only have a marginal effect. There's various other changes that you can look at the mainstream media in detail, but those are the kind of key factors that affect classic car owners. In summary, thankfully, it looks like the changes don't have a huge effect on us directly. it could have been a lot worse. Although we will have to wait and see what the long-term effects will be. As I said at the beginning, these are only my impressions on the budget, so let us know what you think in the comments. If you've enjoyed the video, we'd really appreciate it if you give it a like, share it with anyone that's interested, and also subscribe to the channel. It really helps the YouTube algorithm to get our content to new viewers. Finally, as we said, we love reading the comments. We try to respond to every one, so do please let us know what you think. As always, many thanks for watching, and take care.